those feet. Take it back. Bring your arms out to the sign of a T. Inhale, tension. Shoulders back, chest down. That's energy. Jack it down. Flex those quads. Bring those feet together. Inhale, reach for the sky, touchdown. Now, I'm going to mirror you and drop my right hand straight to the left. Pulling long.
Oh, hey.
Reach.
What am I doing, you may be asking? Well, not only am I doing DDPY, I'm working on owning my life. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about here today. But for now, I still got about 20 minutes left of this workout. Let me finish it. I'll be right back to you guys. All right, now that that workout's done and we're all cleaned up, I have a very important question for all of you guys. And I think it's something you really need to ask yourself. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? That's right, that's a question I think we all need to ask ourselves, because we live in a society now where depression's rampant, anxiety's rampant, people have confidence issues, and people are afraid to reach for their goals because they're afraid to fail. We also live in a society where we allow others to tell us what our limits are, what we're able to do physically, mentally, and what we're basically allowed to accomplish. And doesn't that just sound screwed up in itself? But the thing is, we need to let all that go and just focus on ourselves. Because by focusing on eliminating any limits we've set up for ourselves, that's how we become positively unstoppable. That's right, we're talking about Positively Unstoppable, The Art of Owning It by Diamond Dallas Page. Now, I know you guys may be thinking going into this that this book is all about DDP trying to sell his yoga program for us. And it's not. This book has a little bit of the yoga technique, the dieting in it, but this is really a self-help book that really, for me, I think it's the fastest book I've ever gone through. Now, what does the art of owning it mean? So basically, as I mentioned, we allow ourselves as humankind to basically take in the doubt that others have in us and us to accept that. We're told that at a young age, what do you want to be when you grow up? Oh, I want to be an astronaut. That's impossible. You'll never do that. And you just learn to accept that fact. But with the art of owning it, with Positively Unstoppable, you erase that doubt within yourself. Now, as I mentioned, this does go into his yoga program, but it's not that big of a scenario where he's not trying to basically sell you on it. It's all about putting in the work. Now, for what it is Diamond Dallas Page. Let me give you a little bit of a backstory on him if none of you guys know. Diamond Dallas Page came from essentially a broken family and, was a nightclub owner, eventually became a pro wrestler at age 35, where all, and if not all, many of his colleagues doubted that he would be able to get in the game that late in his basically life. At 35 is a really late age to become a pro wrestler. But DDP put the work in. DDP had the mentality of shutting people down and proving people wrong. He got himself trained. He put in the work, and every time he studied his tapes, he got better in the ring to the point where he set a goal for himself that in 5 years' time, he was going to be world champion. And through sheer hard work and the acceptance of the booking committee and the fans, they put the world title on him multiple times. Now, later on in his career, DDP suffered a terrible neck injury that the doctors told him he would never wrestle again. Boom, setting limits on him, telling him he couldn't do what he worked so hard to get. What did DDP do? He said, no. I'm going to find a way to get back in that ring because my career is not over. And through rehab, through learning yoga at like 38 to 40 years old, DDP was able to basically rehabilitate his body because he felt initially that he was feeling better. And he kept doing the yoga. And eventually he got back in that ring and still had career longevity. And that's the biggest thing. He didn't let the limits that he was told he was going to have actually influence what he was going to do. So here's the thing. So many of us do the same thing day in and day out. And so many of us are crazy for expecting a different result. By working that same 9 to 5 that you don't like, coming home, eating the same food that just makes you feel beat up. Nothing's gonna change. Surprise. What we need to do is, starting now, pick a goal and then figure out, even just the littlest step, what you're going to do to reach that goal. I think a lot of people don't set up long-term goals because the process of getting to them seems overwhelming to them. But in Positively Unstoppable, DDP takes that away. Later on in the book, he gives you a little bit of a chart. And it's like a 5 to 6 point little notebook almost. It says, set your goal. All right, step 1, what are you going to do to get there? Step 2, what are you going to do to get there? Step 3, what are you going to do to get there? And so on. Because by taking the little steps, even the littlest step possible, like just going to the gym or just applying for that job, gets you there. Success begins at the end of your comfort zone. Because the moment we're able to step out of what we're used to and we start owning our own lives again, it's where we become unstoppable mentality-wise. If you take that risk, it may fail, it may succeed, but the thing is, failure isn't permanent. Failure is a learning lesson, and that's something that's really taught to you in this book, is that just because you fall down, get up. Don't take that same path. Modify it however you need to get where you want to be. And that really even goes into his workouts. I've been doing DDP yoga for 7 years now, and if you guys always wonder how I lose weight real quick, how I get myself in shape real quick, it's really that. You put in the work to get the results. You can't expect things to be handed to you. If you really want something, you got to get up and get it. This book really helps with that in itself too, because aside from teaching you, to love yourself and to love what you can do and to just understand what you're fully capable of without setting limits on yourself, you start making those steps. And down the line, those people who told you you couldn't get there, you can laugh at them because you did get there. And all it took was the belief in yourself. It's crazy what you can do by giving yourself the power of the belief in yourself. Never underestimate that power, because if you believe in yourself, you're going to fight for those goals that you want. Nothing's impossible unless you let it be impossible. In this book, one of DDP's favorite quotes is, whether you tell yourself you can or whether you tell yourself you can't, you're right. Because that's the mentality you need to have. If you tell yourself you can do something, you're going to get there. If you tell yourself you can't do something, you're going to accept that and not even attempt it. The art of owning it is basically taking your life back into your control. And it's something that I think all of us need to do, especially because we live in that society, as I mentioned, where so many other people want to control your life and set your limits. But when you become positively unstoppable, all those people can feel the bang of the impact that you're going to give. Diamond Dallas Page has done a great thing by creating this book and just allowing people to believe in themselves again. And if we want to get into a little fitness aspect of it, everything begins at your core. Your gut is like almost the central nervous system of your whole body. And I know you think that's your brain, but no. The food you eat determines your mood. It determines your movement. It determines a lot of different things. And, by not putting the right stuff in your body, you're only becoming a detriment to yourself and your future progress. So DDP does, in this book, have a little bit of a food chart of what you should eat, what you shouldn't eat. And I know it's tough at first to fully cut a lot of things out, but he doesn't make you or influence you to jump right into it. It's like, hey, if you eat a brick of cheese a day, maybe try only eating half that brick and then go to a quarter of that brick, and just basically teach you how to cut all the negative habits out of your life. And it teaches you, how to work out, how stretching is important, how breathing is important, and just the other thing I like that he puts in here is the workout chart. If you do decide to go by the DDP yoga program, DDPY now, he gives that workout chart of what you should do on Tuesdays, on Wednesdays, on Thursdays, on Mondays, and so on and so on. And I've been doing the original program since 2013. So my program's actually outdated. I probably need to update it, but there's so many different things that this guy has created for his DDPY program, from an alarm clock to the DDPY Now app, which basically he does live workouts, he does cooking sessions, and it basically keeps you accountable. You know, what the thing is what he's trying to teach you is to hold accountability for yourself. And I think that's why this book I would recommend to everyone, because I think some of us need that little kick to get going. But if you start reading this book, you'll understand how powerful the mind actually is. When you believe in yourself and you tell yourself you can do something and you start working towards that goal, you're going to start feeling good about yourself and you're going to feel unstoppable. You know, like, it's just amazing how looking to these words, and this book doesn't try to be hard on you. This book is completely relatable for a regular guy or gal. You know, DDP is a really down-to-earth dude, from the way he writes, from the way he does his workouts. And even if you just see him in interviews, he doesn't try to be better than he is, because he knows he's not. He's a guy who got into wrestling late in his life. He's a guy that was dyslexic until his mid-20s. He couldn't read or write. And he's a guy who built himself just on the power of belief in himself. And I think that's what we all need to do. You know, Positively Unstoppable. Go check this one out by Diamond Dallas Page, the man himself from Point Pleasant, New Jersey. And own your life, guys. If you've read this, leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. As always, thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, I'll catch you later, guys. See you, bye.